So we have a new episode from My Hero Academia, and it's about what you would expect. It's focusing on the villains and what they were doing on their side of the story since pretty much the beginning of the season, which, if they do something interesting with it and they handle the characters in a specific way that's interesting, because considering that we don't really know that much about what they're really doing or what even are their motivations to begin with, it could be really interesting, and I can understand why people would be really excited about this. And now that it's starting, people are really excited about it, depending on how they handle this, of course. But we only have a select amount of episodes left to kind of do all this stuff, which I don't even know how long it's even supposed to be for the entirety of this storyline. So they're either going to have to cut it short for the rest of the season, because I can only imagine that we have only a few episodes left, because we're like on episode 20, and there's usually about like 25-ish episodes for a season for this show. So what are they gonna do, right? Are they gonna have to cut it off at like episode 25 and then continue on into the next season? I don't know what exactly they're gonna do, but you know, for what it's worth, it is interesting. It is interesting to see Shigaraki's motivation and how determined he is, and just this episode alone with what he's trying to do, and to see more of his backstory and explaining the hands that he has all over his body and on his face. It's actually that of his family who he accidentally killed, which I didn't even know that. You know, they didn't even need to explain what that was about, but they did, and I think that's really dark, but it really fits into his character and why he has that, and having all that gives him a sense of motivation in some way and his goal, and it leads them towards that. And then Gigaton Maki is in the episode as well, which we haven't seen in a little while, and they explain what they're going to be doing with him. And yeah, he's basically just a guy that was left behind because of All for One, sorry. He was a bodyguard, and now he's left behind for Shigaraki to use in some specific way. This episode leading into the next episode for next week is basically just explaining the events of what the villains were doing in the Middle Liberation Army that we saw previously in a couple episodes back, and how there was this district in one of the cities that got completely destroyed. And yeah, that was because of the villains. We already knew that, but what exactly happened there? And from what it seems like, because Shigaraki's trying to control Gigaton Maki, he actually ends up leading him towards this district city, or this district in the city, and he ends up causing mass destruction within just a short amount of the short area that they're in. So it's going to be very interesting to see that, but I don't really have anything else to say. I don't really know what else to say, because it's hard. It's hard to explain what the characters are talking about, because they say it, and it's easy to understand, which is why you should just watch the episode yourself. You know, Shigaraki has this motivation. He wants to continue on what his master was doing, and he just wants to succeed in his own way and succeed in what he's trying to do, and then everyone else is just following along beside him. Shigaraki is like the main, focus of the League of Villains, and that's cool. And then seeing him progress forward as to be the head honcho of the League of Villains and eventually end up being the successor for All for One is interesting. It's an interesting character journey for Shigaraki, but all the other characters and what they're doing, they're just kind of there, and they're just there to be side characters and to assist along the way. And the only other character that's interesting in some sort of specific way is Dabi, and that's because of who we can insinuate who he actually is, and the fact that he has connections towards somebody else that's actually pretty interesting as well. And that's kind of it. I don't really have anything else to say. Just the Middle Liberation Army's doing some fucking crazy shit. They have this big-ass army, and they're trying to take out the League of Villains in the next episode, and that's not going to happen. They're going to end up working together, which is what we've seen. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say. I don't have anything else to say. So, yeah. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. I'll see you guys next one. Have a fantastic day. I just hope that the stuff that they're doing with the villains is interesting. That's all I can really hope for. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm out. Peace.